All right, here we go. Check one, two. I am your boy Tony Maceo coming to you live and direct on this chilly November morning. And I got a special guest with me, one of my favorite guests. Uh, I'm not ashamed to admit, Miss Nicole Michelle, my co counsel. I call her my co counsel. Well, not my co counsel, my opposing counsel. The last podcast we did, I think that people really enjoyed that. And we like her here at Max City and Power and Strategy. So we invited her back. Today's podcast, what we want to do, we want to discuss the TI situation because I came across an article on the Guardian written by I think her name is Jill Philipp Philippovic. Philippovic, I think that's her name. Of the Guardian. It's one of these liberal rags. I don't even think they're here. I think they're in across the seas in England. Uh, so I came across this, and then the internet has been quite alive recently with this situation. And what apparently happened was Ti did an interview on some podcast with some podcaster, and he admitted that he actually has his daughter uh, go to a gynecologist every year to check to see if her hymen is intact, to see if she's still a virgin. And so the left exploded. The left, the liberals and the feminists just went crazy. They lost their damn minds. They had a meltdown. And I had been hearing about this off and on through YouTube, and I think O'Shea did a podcast on it. And it struck me as interesting is that anytime when the black community tries to come to, or anything, black women or black men, anytime they try to come close to anywhere, they try to come close to anything that's resembling normalcy, how the left and liberals will call it abnormal. And so I came across an article today on The Guardian, and I wanted to share it with Miss Nicole Michelle and get her thoughts on the importance of black fathers. And today's title is Our Competent Fathers Ratchet Prevention, because that's another topic that's been talked about, especially in black YouTube, the ratchet and the hood rats. Now I'm shocked that everybody hates hood rats. Now all of a sudden we got all this rancor and animus towards hood rats and ratchets in the inner city. Some of it is valid criticism. A lot of them is valid. A lot of it is valid criticism, and rightly so. But I think a lot of it is fake outrage and sour grapes. And so I just wanted Miss Nicole Michelle on here to give her take on whether the importance of fathers in terms of determining the sexual health of their daughters, and in terms of determining their virtuosity, whether they are virtuous women, and how competent fathers shape and mold their daughters for marriage. Maceo, you talking about marriage? Ain't you Mr. 75? Well, you talking about this? Well, yeah, because at the end of the day, flaws be damned. I still stand for normalcy and I still stand for what's right. So I wanted Ms. Nicole Michelle up here to give her critique on this situation. I'm going to ask her a couple of questions, and hopefully we can get a little bit of back and forth here. It's not going to be long today because she has a podcast today, and we are going to respect her time and her space for her. I don't want her to give all the game away for her podcast today at 2 p.m. Please be sure and check that out today at 2 p.m. And what is the name of your podcast today, Miss Michelle?
Well,
Tell people
hello.
the name of your podcast.
Hello, Mr. Maceo. Thanks for having me this cold Monday morning.
All right.
Only Power and Strategy can have me on an early live on a Monday morning, because he's a dear friend. So thank you so much for having me. What'd you ask me? Oh, my show is Inner Beauty TV by Nicole Michelle. Come check me out 2 p.m. We're talking about Lester Diamonds in your world. So I'm looking forward to that, and all the ladies and gentlemen in the audience, as well as Power and Strategy trolling me. I also want to say thank you to you, sir, for serving in the military. Today's Veterans Day, so I just want to tell you thank you for your service, and
you
everybody else in the audience that served.
you're welcome. Shout out. It is Veterans Day. Shout out to all the veterans today. To all the veterans in the chat room, to the real people that served in Korea, Vietnam. If we have any World War II veterans with us, Desert Storm and the like, today is your day. I think today you can normally go to, I think a lot of the buffets like Golden Corral, I think the veterans eat free, if I'm not mistaken. They eat free at a lot of these establishments today. So you guys might want to, guys and girls, because women were veterans too.
Shout
You
out to
might,
Rain and Woman.
yep,
She's a vet too.
yep. You might want to go. Salute to Reigning Woman. They can go to various establishments, and I think they can eat for free today. I know Golden Corral normally does that. I don't know if they have Golden Corral in your neck of the woods, Reigning Woman, but they do little things to honor veterans. So, with that being said, I want to get underway. This was something that I did spontaneously. I've been thinking about this. I'm not the best when it comes to planning these things because I have to get this stuff out because if I forget it, I forget what I'm gonna say. I'm getting old, and Mike done gave me that buckwheat. That shit is contagious, and I'm getting it now.
Oh
So
wow.
I just wanted to get this out. Uh, Nicole, have you heard about the scandal? What is your position? I mean, what do you make of all this hullabaloo about Ti having his daughter going to a gynecologist to check her hymen to see if she's still a virgin? Do you remember the movie Dorothy Dandridge with Holly Berry?
Yes, yes. Very good
Uh,
movie.
do you remember the scene where her mother's lesbian lover said, "I'm checking your drawers,
Yeah.
spread
Yes,
your legs"?
yes, yes.
You know,
Very traumatic to her. Yes.
Yeah, so at first when, this happened, I thought this is what he was doing. That this is how they made it sound. They made it sound that he just grabbed the little girl, bent her over, and just ran his finger up in her. But then after I started to investigate and look at the facts, I started to see that it was quite different than what people were saying. He was actually taking her to the gynecologist to see if her hymen was still intact. I mean, do you think that's barbarous?
Um, what I will tell you is that I was raised with my father, and I had no social life because of my father. He was he was straight. He did everything but that. He just left, gynecological visits to my mother, everything feminine to my mother. But he made sure I was a virgin because I never left the house. Like I was very, very protected till I went off to college. So, Ti being overly concerned about his daughter's virginity, it doesn't strike me as overly concerned. I think we live in a day and time where a woman's sexuality is the feminist ideology is freedom, freedom. Nobody can control my body, not even my dad. It's a lot of moving parts to this, that I'm glad I'm discussing it on your channel because I really don't want to talk about it on mine. But um, this subject, I think a lot of women are projecting a lot of their emotions of not being protected by father, maybe overprotection from father, maybe rape and molestation from a male guardian or someone that had access to them. They are projecting those issues and situations onto Ti. Another thing I just want to say about Ti, Ti is ignorant. He talks too much. Celebrities they need to hire PR people to tell them what to say and what not to say. There are just certain. I mean, he doesn't have his ear to the ground to what society is, where it's going, in Black society and his audience. And he just alienated a great block of Black women because they didn't grow up with father, so they don't understand the urgency, the protection piece. They're not familiar with the masculine perspective. So if you weren't raised with a very strong or supportive masculine perspective, this story really irks you to the core. So he doesn't understand that. A PR person would have been like, do not discuss your children. Don't go there. Don't discuss the intricacies of your family. And celebrities just think that they have carte blanche and they're above the fray in terms of, what they can and cannot say, like they're above reproach. And what celebrities are learning, especially Black masculine ones are learning, uh, the witch hunt is out for masculine men, period. So any form of showing masculinity, this comes across to the left faction of our society as being controlling, the patriarchy, it's controlling her body, her sexuality, her virginity. And it's so many moving parts to that, I guess we'll talk about it. But I just feel like, me personally, Tip Harris needs to shut up. You do not discuss your household. It's like old school. I tell these ladies that follow me, close your mouth. Do not discuss what happens in your house. It's not anybody else's business. They are judgmental. Don't discuss your relationship, because people are just so so that's my issue with Tip, is you talk too much. But I
I,
don't think he's going to the doctor and actually sticking his hand. I mean, come on.
yeah,
I think people just took that too
that
far.
was the image. That was how they had portrayed it.
They were
And
projecting. Yeah.
yeah, to go back to what you said though, in during the period of Motown. Now, of course, they were hood niggas and they had their own problems too. But one thing that I appreciated about Barry Gordy was that he believed in PR specialists. Not only did he believe in PR specialists, he had a huge machine there to mold the image
Oh yeah.
of his artists.
And it paid off as
Yeah,
well.
he had a actual charm school where I forget the woman's name. He had a woman on payroll where he would teach these women what to say, how to move, how to act, and he would do the same thing with the men. Now, for the men, I think it was his choreographer. I think it was Charlie Atkins. But there was this sense that you don't just give these people a microphone. You just don't do that. And unfortunately, in the black community, um, we got this thing about making athletes and entertainers leaders, and that's always problematic. You go back to someone like Malcolm X, who said, when they were, when the media was attempting to put him on the spot, and they asked him about something. I think it was they went to either Dizzy Gillespie or Louis Armstrong, and asked him about the Nation of Islam, and they were saying that they didn't agree with Elijah Muhammad and so forth. And Malcolm X said, "Well, these are trumpet players and clowns." He said, "Show me in the white community where a trumpet player is, a leader." And in the black community, we have that very bad where we take directions. I mean, that we are notorious for taking direction from athletes and rappers, and this is what happens a lot of times when you give that uh, poor and marginalized sector of the black community a microphone. I'm all for empowering, but just because you can open your mouth doesn't necessarily mean you should open your mouth. But I digress. Let me get back to the issue here. The question I had was, you said that you didn't have an issue with it. How important do you think uh, competent fathers are over? Can a father be too overprotective? Let me ask you that question. Do you think a father can be too overprotective uh, to the point where they actually maybe psychologically give their daughters issues? How effective are competent fathers in ratchet prevention?
Well, I'll be honest with you. My daddy was old school. He was a country boy from the boot. And at the time, I did think that he was being extra with me. I honestly did. I wasn't allowed to date till I was 17. And then that had to be chaperoned. And I had to go to church all the time. I was with my mama all the time. I was never really by myself, to the point where when I finally did get some freedom, I really didn't deviate too much, because I knew my daddy was looming, and he always made it clear that I could pop up anywhere you are. And so that always stood in the back of my head. I'm chilling with my friends and my daddy pops up. Oh my God. Especially when most of my friends didn't have fathers. So my dad was one of the few dads that would go to the parent teacher conferences, or, my recitals and things like that, because he was very, very, very instrumental in my upbringing. I thought he was overbearing. I thought my daddy was so uncool. I thought my daddy was just over, just much, right? And now I'm okay, I'm trying not to get choked up, but now I'm doing what I'm doing because of him. Because he was strict, because he protected me. And I see how so many women didn't have a daddy, and how um off-centered they are because they didn't get the protection that I took for granted. And I lost him at 19.
Mm.
Try not to get choked up, but
Oh.
I thought that I had it all figured out, and he knew ahead of time what I was going to be going. He used to tell me, "Man, a man doesn't want a ready-made family," is what they used to say back in the day. And I was like, "What?" It never, it didn't sink in until I was getting ready to get married. That because my actual ex-husband literally said I wouldn't have married you if we had kids. He literally said that. It's a lot of stuff my dad taught me. It was almost like he knew he was gonna die early, so he was just cramming me with stuff. We would sit up late at night and make sausage burgers, and he would just talk to me and give me game, and I didn't appreciate it. I'm like, what is this? You're just so like, why do I have to be stuck with the old-fashioned daddy? Why can't I run the streets like the rest of the girls who did not have a father? And now I'm where I'm at and they are where they at. No diss to them, but I see the difference I see how a lot of women are hurt inside and need healing because they did not have a father. And now I wish I could pick up the phone and tell him he did a good job. I just took him for granted. I just had no idea um, how a lot of these women wish that they had a daddy. So yeah, to a lot of women who don't have a father, Ti is doing much. But let me tell you, to the men that are watching that, they looking at how beautiful she is, how protected she is. Her sexual market value is through the roof. Like every man that steps to her is gonna have to go through Ti. He's gonna make sure that no buster is gonna mess over his daughter. He knows the value of what woman he's getting. He's not getting a hoe that's been ran through. To a lot of men, that's gold.
But and that's the system we used to have, though. That's the
Right,
funny thing.
right,
It
right.
used to be a time when you had to come in if you intended to, and they would like to perpetrate this myth that it was just something that white folks did. Because niggas
Oh
have become
no,
so
no.
adjusted to abnormality that anything that smacks of normalcy is now become white. So, they would say, well, oh, that's white people. No, it's
We're
not.
not used to masculine men.
No,
For Maceo, it's been 40 to 50 years since we had the majority of our families with a black male father. So a lot of this stuff is foreign. They don't understand that historically, in order for a woman to get married, forget a baby, to get married or to even allow a man to have an audience with a woman, he had to go through her father.
her father, exactly. That's what, and you had to sit down. They had to size you up. The father had to size you up. And one of the first things they would ask you is, so what are your plans? You know, how do you plan to support my daughter?
What are
You
your
know,
intentions is their
what are
main
your intentions?
question. Yeah.
That was the symbolic, that was the motive or the idea behind the giving of the way. When a father walks his daughter down the aisle to her husband, he is literally charging the care of his daughter. He is literally giving his daughter, he is charging this man with the responsibility of the upkeep of his daughter for the rest of her life.
In
You
other
know,
words, the father covered her, and now he's handing her to this man to cover her. That was
ex-
the whole significance of the father giving the man away. And the
exactly,
white signified her being a virgin.
exactly,
So we've
exactly.
gotten away from all of that. It was very, weddings are very symbolic.
Yes, yes, and that was why you had to go and sit down and chop it up with the father in the first place. That was why you had to sit down and go talk and let him size you up. And he would tell the daughter every little thing about your character, every little thing that he liked, every little thing that he didn't like. You know, and he was sort of like the old Roman emperor in the Parthenon, where he would
Mhm.
give the thumbs up or thumbs down,
Right, right.
you know, and to let you know whether you had his blessing to marry his daughter. And so when you said that Ti is going to make sure that his daughter uh, that no busters are going. I mean, that was the job of a father. That was being a father. That was his responsibility, was to screen his daughter and to protect his daughter from destroying her future. That was a key responsibility of fatherhood. That's
And
what
the
made
thing
father
is,
so special.
And the thing is, a lot of black women want to be valued, which is why they are out here doing the most. They want to be valued. So they're not used to a black male perspective, i.e. the father in the home protecting them. They don't think that they're good enough, which is why they do the most now, right? The whole ratchet, whole hookup culture, that's bred from not having the masculine perspective in the home, just kind of willy-nilly, right? And so a lot of black women don't feel that they're good enough, and a lot of that comes from not having a father, because the father is the first gate, the first um understanding or interaction with the male counterpart, is understanding men. And if they didn't have a father who was loving and doting, because see, fathers love unconditional,
Yes.
and they think that a man is supposed to love them unconditional. No, that's what your father should have done. And if you did not have a father loving you unconditional, you actually look for these jokers out here to love you unconditional. No, they are very conditional. You have to look a certain way. You got to do your part. That's conditional love. There is no such thing as conditional love unless it's Jesus or your daddy. That's it. I teach my ladies, that's it. You don't expect conditional love because you're conditional. If he doesn't work, guess what? You get rid of him, right? That's conditional love. You know what I'm saying? Everything's conditional. So um if he don't do his part, you want to get rid of him. And the same thing with you. You don't do your part, he gonna upgrade you or get rid of you. So dads had that unconditional love. You my baby girl, you made a mistake. Come sit on my lap. Let me hug you. Not in a sexual way, but in a loving, fatherly way. Let me hug you and correct you so that you can do right. Many women never had that fatherly correction. And so everything with men is associated with sex. So that brings us to TI. In their mind, they're projecting their whole not having a father and everything being sexual. Some of these girls have been, they barely out of diapers being touched by men that their mothers gave them access to. And so they're projecting what has happened to them onto this girl and TI.
I'm so glad you said that because I actually made that point on a prior podcast that a lot of the molestation that goes on in the home is a result of the men that the mothers are bringing into the home. I'm so glad that you
Absolutely. We
said.
don't address that because we're not supposed to talk about mama.
Wow. Well, here we talk about everything. We talk about everything. See, uh, Miss Nicole, I will be the enforcer. I will say shit you can't say, and I will say it proudly and dare anybody to have a problem with it.
Right, right, right.
So on this channel, we give it all up. We give it all up. So I want to go over this article for just a bit, and I want you to tell me your thoughts. This is an article written by The Guardian, and I want to read a portion of it to you, and I just want you to, give me your thoughts on it. This is an article again by Jill Filipovic, Filopovic, I guess that's her name, Filipovic or Filopovic, and it's about Ti, and it says here, it says, I'm going to read this portion here. It said the internet exploded, and it's talking about Ti's interview. The podcast host apologized and pulled the episode, Ti's episode, and it says, yes, it's outrage bait. Yes, what Ti said is deeply disturbing, suggests an abusive family situation, and deserves every bit of derision being heaped on it. But it could also force a more intelligent conversation on women, sex, and virginity. First things first. Okay, this is where she starts. This is where she starts to go in, rather. Virginity does not exist, and there's no way to test it. It says hymens can be broken by things other than penises. Some girls are born without hymens. Many women and girls who have never had penetrative vaginal sex nonetheless lack an intact hymen. So women who have had penetrative vaginal sex see their hymens remain intact. What is your position on the thing about that there's no that the concept that basically the concept of virginity does not exist, and this thing about, some girls are born without hymens and so forth and so on. What does that sound like to you? And she says it's an abusive, quote, an abusive family situation. What is your, I think I know what it is, but I want to hear you say it. What is your position on when you hear something like that?
It reeks of feminist undertone. I'm doing my best to help the women that listen to my channel recognize feminist rhetoric when you hear it, because they don't want to be called feminist now, but the rhetoric is still the same. Um, Hymen's, what she says about hymens is anatomically correct. That is medically correct, should I say.
Okay.
So a woman could be riding a horse and break her hymen. I mean, that's what I was taught. I stand corrected, but when I was a girl and I was taking sex ed, when I was studying this, um, the hymen was something that you really cannot you cannot use it to determine virginity, because the reason why is because of everything she said. That's correct. However, historically, that was one way that men fathers were able to detect if their daughter was a virgin. Why is this important? Because historically, for those of you who read the Bible, and for those of you who know ancient history, those history buffs out there, Macy, are you a history buff?
Hmm.
Traditionally, a woman, a daughter or a girl, so anywhere from 12 all the way up, maybe even younger in some societies, scary but true. Let's say 12 all the way up. They bargained their daughter. They bartered their daughter,
Yes.
and the dowry. Not only did the husband get a dowry, but they also uh basically guaranteed that their daughter was a virgin. She was untouched. And in the Bible days, if a woman had had sex before marriage, she was done. Remember Tamar, the story of Tamar? She was raped by her cousin, brother, something like that.
Yes. Yes.
She was forever had to be single back in the day. Nowadays, a woman can be raped and go on and live her life, heal and do whatever she got to do. But back in the Bible days, they looked at it as her hymen is damaged. She's done. She's damaged goods because a man has penetrated her. So historically, a woman's hymen was their way medically of determining if a woman was a virgin or not. They did not have all this medical fancies that we have now, technological advances that we have now. They didn't have microscopes back then. All they knew is that little piece of skin, if that's gone, she's had sex. And that they were very, very protective, because if they couldn't marry the daughter off, that meant money. That was a loss of money.
Yes.
So
Yes.
everything was around money and wealth building. Marriage was a contract between two families. People underestimate marriage. They don't understand marriage. They just real
Right.
ignorant about marriage. And I teach the business side of it as well. And people getting their fees. But marriage is very, very a business contract. And so that hymen being intact guaranteed to the man trying to marry her, like, hey,
And she
I
was a good investment.
right. It's like you got a virgin girl, and my family gonna give you money, we're gonna give you land, blah, 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 blah. So that was that. As far as virginity is concerned, that's just in other words, what they're really trying to do is blur the lines and basically tell women that there is no such thing as virgin. You're born to do whatever you want to do. There is no beginning to your sexuality. You just do whatever you want to do. It's everything's a gray line. There is no start or finish to your womanhood. There's no growth into nothing. And I beg to differ. My first time was, yeah. Yeah. So please don't tell me there is no such thing as virginity, because you're absolutely out to lunch. But that's what they're trying to, this whore culture. That's what it is. The whore culture, and the
And
slut culture and all that.
that's what it seems like to me. It seems like they're blurring the lines to where, there's no more right or wrong about anything.
Right.
You become so progressive that you become decadent. You just become hopelessly decadent, right? It seems like there are no clear lines, and then people become, really adjusted to abnormality. It's like this sick take on George Orwell's 1984, where before rules were made to, serve man, they were made to serve society, but now society is become a prisoner to its own progression. It's become a prisoner to its own um, liberal teachings and aspects and philosophies. And it just seems as though after a while you begin to lose touch. I mean, because if you listen to a lot of guys, because I've listened to a lot of these niggas in the manosphere, I've listened to their hypocritical ramblings, and they'll sit up here and tell you in a heartbeat. I mean, they will talk out of both sides of their mouths. On one hand, they'll talk about a woman having a high body count. And then on the other hand, they'll talk about how they want her to be sexually experienced.
I ain't buying her no steak and she don't give me no sex. Okay, and then you turn around and call her a hoe because she has a high body count. Like women can't win. They just can't win. So
That's it's like, okay, which one do you want? Do you want the whore or do you want the virgin? Because I was on a panel recently, and it was a good panel, the last one I was on, and it kicked off a lot of other shit which I'm not going to discuss. But I asked one of the panelists, he was like, well, these women don't deserve the bag because, he pretty much said that they were promiscuous and so forth. And I asked him, I said, well, how many women do you think are virgins? He said Slim and none just left the building. Excuse me, Slim and none, and Slim just left the building. I'm sorry. But uh, it's like, okay, you're bemoaning the fact that there are no virgins or that there are very few virgins. But then you have, like this article, women writing articles like this that bemoan the idea of women being virgins. They bemoan the fact that these women have low body counts and are sexually inexperienced. You know,
because to have a low body count means that you don't understand your sexuality, you're not sexually free. Remember, and I harp on this all the time, the feminist ideology, there is a feminist undertone to our society. So that means women are moving away from being feminine and embracing femininity and embracing masculine perspective more so, and it's more mental. Right, they can have a dress and heels on, but mentally they are men, which means they date, they move, they operate just like a man, which means they judge men based on looks, which is what men do with women. So they start judging me, which is why you have all these women wanting pretty boys and not the confident men. They also move like men where they're all about getting laid. That's a masculine perspective. When you hear a woman say, I need to get me some dick, that's masculinity. I need to get laid. I need to give me some, that's masculine. Feminine women don't say that. It's really not being bougie. It's just feminine women don't operate like that. We all about trying to we want three things. We want the dick, but we also want the wallet and we want the heart. That's how feminine women move. We want all three parts. So we very strategic. We don't go around talking about, I want to get laid. That might actually be the case, but we definitely not going to say it. That to say it and to operate like that is masculine energy. To go out to the bar talking about, I'm going to pick me up a man. Women, I've heard men 35 and up literally tell me the easiest women to sleep with now are 30 and up because they literally move like men. They go to the bar, they pick up a man, just like a woman, just like a man would go to a bar to pick up women. That's the type of society we living in. And so the more masculine energy women are, you're going to hear statements like this. And I want women that listen to me to be able to just recognize that one as soon as they hear it.
but that's also, I think, a devolution, though, the devolution of traditional values. Because if they move like men, like you said before, they're concerned about looks. And when they're concerned about looks, let's just keep it 100. 9 times out of 10, they go out there looking for and they find the cute hobo sexual. you know
Yes,
they
yes, yes.
find they when they get in the zone of looking for or just going off looks, they generally find the worthless niggas, the trifling niggas, the lazy
The
niggas,
Lester Diamonds. I'm gonna
the
talk about
Lester
Lester Diamond
Diamonds.
today.
Exactly. They go out there and they find that kind of man, instead of looking at a man, evaluating a man from a holistic perspective. Okay, looking at his character, looking at his relationship with his mother, looking at whether or not he had his father. Because a lot of fathers would tell you, if a man would tell their daughters, if a man was raised by a single mother, stay away from it.
That's exactly what my daddy said. He was like, you're going to be incompatible with a man raised by a woman. And I did not understand that until I was courting for marriage.
you
It's so
know
very true.
so this situation, it's like, on one hand, on one hand, it's like we want to get adjusted to this single parent situation, well, or we want to get adjusted to the situation where we let women's sexuality out of the bottle. But when we let women's sexuality out of the bottle, Walt Joe 100 says female sexuality is a beast that genie has been let out of the lamp. But yeah, when you let it out of the lamp, then it becomes an apparition. It becomes a ghastly apparition. It becomes demonic from the perspective, not that it's not controlled, because I think that's what a lot of dudes want to do. They want to control female sexuality because they're intimidated by female sexuality. A lot of dudes find themselves, now that female sexuality has been unleashed, like you said, the women are moving like dudes. So because they're moving like dudes, you got a lot of dudes that are left without women when the music stops. A lot of dudes that would be good husbands are now pushed to the side because the choice is primarily now on their physical appearance. There's an overemphasis on a man's physical appearance as far as, choosing him as a short-term lover and a long-term husband. And that is catastrophic. That has
What I
terrible consequences.
What I want to jump in here and say though is a lot of women are talking about, oh, they're caging our sexuality, or they kept us in a box, or they, kept us oppressed, our sexuality oppressed. Yeah, but we have more unfulfilled women than we ever have had in history. I'm going to do a show probably next week or the week after addressing that. We're going into the holiday season. This is depression prime time right now. Women are feeling the crunch of not having a man, but they sexually free though.
You
See,
know what?
so that's this trade off there. And one more thing before you jump in.
Go ahead.
Eve. Eve, let's talk about the Eve. For those of you who
Okay.
read the Bible, whether you believe it or not, Eve was in the Bible. There was a reason why God put Adam over Eve, because she made decisions with her emotions, and Adam was governed by God's law and logic. But as soon as Eve got by herself, why do you think the serpent went to Eve? I'm just gonna leave that right there.
There's a song that comes out during this time of year, especially after Thanksgiving. When you said that, that made me think about that song, an old school song called "What Do the Lonely Do at Christmas." It's an old school song called "What Do
Mhm.
the Lonely Do at Christmas."
Yeah.
But this thing about letting it out the bottle and so forth and so on. I think what you have now is a lot of those dudes. This is what happens. A lot of the rage and vitriol that you hear in both the white manosphere and the black manosphere is a lot of the dudes that have been pushed to the side. And of course, they'll never admit this. They've been pushed to the side by the women that they desire because those women are moving like men and because they do place excessive importance on how a man looks, his physical appearance. I'm not talking about his hygiene or his grooming, but his physical appearance, how they expect him to look. So generally, not in all cases, but generally, when they choose these guys, when they choose these guys, um, again, they're not choosing these guys for competence. It's purely sexual gratification. It's purely, and they forget that there's a long-term outcome here. There are long-term consequences, for choosing these guys, because one thing leads to another. For it, they're pregnant, you know, and a baby's here, and then now a lot of times they're gone before the baby's born.
Well, I just want to reject the notion that just because a guy is competent, that he's just automatically good for her. Because remember, ladies, all men go through a player stage where they just
Yep.
doing them and they're not really ready for commitment, but they are generally at the core good people. They just not ready for a relationship at that time. So he could drag you through the mud just because he ain't ready and you are. And so I reject the notion that just because he's competent by default, he's good. And that's what they're pushing, when really in reality, Maceo, a lot of these guys are in their player stage. And because women are in the driver's seat and choosing men based on looks, they're left out in the cold. They're not chosen first in the dodgeball game.
Right.
So basically they didn't get that player stage off. And so now
Right.
they really going in on the ratchets, who's supposed to be so easy, but the ratchets still can tell them no.
Well,
Big booty Brenda can still say no, right?
Exactly. That's the thing that's the thing that nobody wants to admit in the conversation. That as fucked up as she is, as many children as she has, they still want her. And they will swear up and down, no, that's not the case. That's not, no, yes, it is. You still want her, and her rejection still hurts. Her rejection still stings because, like you said, a lot of dudes didn't go through that stage. They didn't go through their dog stage. So now here they are in their 40s, 30s, 40s, and 50s talking about they're trying to bang as many women as possible.
Maceo,
You know, yes, yes, ma'am.
you have a question in the chat.
Okay, hold on. Before I get to that question, I'm going to get to it. I want to acknowledge something else. Uh, Walt, one of my favorite chat room commenters said, also, Tony, most of the trifling brothers in the hood are non-select gamesmen. You in
Right.
Obsidian keep calling these hood dudes select good bars. Let me say this for the record. There's nothing select about a trifling Negro. I have never called these, I certainly would never call these Negroes good bars. You got me fucked up. That's Ron Wills that calls them good bars. You in the wrong chat room, dog. That's not something I do. As a matter of fact, I spend most of my time in the dating market. If real talk, I spend most or have spent, let me put it that way. I have spent most of my time in the dating market undermining those Negroes. So no, to me, there's nothing non-select about them. To me, there's nothing heroic or romantic about them. To me, they're trifling niggas. That's how I see them. That they're irrelevant. They are of monumental irrelevance to me. They are the most non-significant factor in the black community as far as dating is concerned. Is that clear? So no, I don't see them as good bars. Not in any standard sense of the word.
Some people get you confused and they lump you in with all them other dudes.
Well,
Uh,
they think that I've become the mascot for incelic rage. That's not what that is. I'm not here to be the mascot for MGTOW. I'm not here to be the mascot for Red Pill. They mistake what I was really trying to do and what I was really trying to say. What I
mhm.
was really trying to say is that there's a way for the so-called non-select men to prevail in the dating market by being themselves. Because the so-called non-select nigga is short-winded. He can't go the distance. This is not a guy that you choose for a marathon. This is a guy you choose for a sprint. And he's not even going to make the distance for a sprint. So the message with I got 75 and the message with tricking was, of course, a position that I was taking. I was being sarcastic when I said it. In that most of these niggas that are supposed to be select are really quite stupid. They're really quite moronic, imbecilic, or imbecilic, yeah, imbecilic, and in some instances unproductive. In many instances, unproductive. These are complete half-wit morons that women are choosing to sleep with. So it was really a criticism of the women and the niggas that they were sleeping with. I got 75 was meant to be a joke. It was real, but it was meant to be as an indictment against the stupidity of the niggas and the stupidity of the women that are choosing them.
Mm.
That's what it was for.
In the
It
hookup
was never
culture.
meant to beat up on anybody. It was a castigation, an indictment of the hookup culture. So no, it was not. I do not call these niggas good bars. I do not call these niggas good bars. I do not call these niggas select because there's nothing select about them. I hope that's clear.
Some
So
of
let
these
me get
men on here talking about they select or not select, but I'll mute my mic on that one.
okay. Now, yeah, right. So let me see. What is my what's the question here? What the fuck is it? You need to go ask Ron Wills what good bar is, because that's his term, not mine. And I'm not gonna answer that other question because I'm not bringing no other YouTubers names up in my shit. Incelic rage, yes, incelic rage. Incelic rage are those niggas that have become sexually frustrated to the point where they harbor an intense rage and disdain for women. That's what incelic rage is. Where they want to see you burn because you wouldn't fuck them, where they want to see you dissolve in a pool of your own liquid,
Because they're in their player stage and they couldn't get that off. In
and
other
they
words,
couldn't
they
get that
wanted
off.
to make you a smash and dash, and you didn't
Yeah,
give them that opportunity. How dare you, you ratchet black girl? You supposed to give me some.
yeah. How dare you turn them down? You know,
Mhm.
you have all these kids. How dare you say no to me? You know, you have all these problems. You broke. How dare you say no to me? You see that, and that's the issue. That's the point right there. Because as fucked up as she is, she can still step on and walk all over their pride, and they hate that. They
Miss
hate that.
Miss Misa Stacks wants to know: do white boys have player stages, or is it just a black thing?
Yes, everybody has a player stage. That's what MGTOW means when they talk about riding the cock carousel. That people go through these stages of promiscuity because they're trying to figure out their sexual identity. This is what normally happens. You're trying to figure out who you are, you know. But what happens is that process clashes with conventional values. It clashes with traditional norms. And what happens is that when that clashes with these norms, what you got is, that's my Fred Sanford ringtone. As that clashes with conventional norms, sometimes it lands people on different pages. So you'll get dudes that have had these sexual experiences with women that haven't had these sexual experiences. And because sex is a very important part of relationships, and because it's a very important part of marriages, the dudes will go out of the home seeking satisfaction with the whores.
See, here's the thing, though. When there was a reason why historically men tried to keep women's sexuality in a bottle, because it wasn't until the hookup culture became prevalent in our society, which was the last 60 to 70 years. I would say all the way back up to 60s, I would say 60s, that the hookup culture became, it was kind of low, kind of behind the scenes with the hate love out there in San Francisco that kind of started it. And then, Woodstock and that it started to come mainstream, but now the hookup culture is here. It wasn't until then that women felt like they needed to go screw a whole bunch of people before they settled down and got married. Feminism and all that. Because before, women got married what, right out of high school,
Yep. Yeah.
so, and even younger in the country, women got, it's only in the modern times that marrying under 18 is just this huge big old thing. But back in the country, I'm gonna tell you, my grandmother married at 17 and my grandfather was in his late 30s, and that was
Mm.
just the 50s. That was
Oh.
just the 50s. So I mean, we've changed a lot of things, but it's the hookup culture that has told women, hookup culture and a combination of feminism, and our decline in morals and values, and our closeness to God, just straight up. Women feel like they got to go ride the cock carousel, as y'all call it.
Mm.
And that's what it is. So when you have guys like Ti who are just adamant about their daughter remaining a virgin, you have to understand he grew up in the hood. He married a hood chick. He's in the music business. He sees the grime, and he's trying to protect his daughter from that.
Yeah. I mean, it's simple to me. I don't understand what people, don't get about it. I don't understand what people don't get about it. George Macon is in the chat room. Good morning, sir. Good morning to you, sir.
What's up, Megan?
Welcome, Mr. Macon. Welcome into the chat room. And there was another guy. He said, no, Billy Jeff said there was no hookup culture in the 1800s. The 1800s was the Victorian period, if I'm not mistaken.
He's saying it was a hookup culture
There
back
was, I'm sorry, there was a hookup culture in the 1800s. Yeah, he's correct. So during that period, that was the Victorian
then. It
period,
was
and also
underground, though.
exactly, it was pornography. It was Victorian-based
Marriage is
pornography.
underground.
Exactly. So again, shout out to George. Welcome to the chat room this morning, George Macon. So I want to go to the next part of this article here in the Guardian, and I want to get your opinion here. It says, of course, the entire concept of virginity is misogynistic. There's that word. The entire concept of virginity is misogynistic. Men aren't valued for their sexual inexperience. There it is. There it is. Penis envy, anyone?
That's feminist undertone all day long.
That is, men aren't valued for their sexual inexperience. There's no male virginity test, and male sexual desire and experience are considered both normal and appropriate. It is also just plain stupid, logically and conceptually. If a woman has sex exclusively with women and has 500 partners in her life, is she still a virgin? What I mean, okay, okay.
They're trying to blur the line between men and women. They're trying to make us equal. And I'm trying to really tell women we don't want to be equal to men. We want to be cherished for being virtuous because that's how we command. Let me hold that credit card because I need to run up to Nordstrom's and get me stuff. And he gives it to us because we actually deserve it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's
Yeah.
not gonna want to come out of his pocket for a hoe unless he just gonna drop that money on the dresser and walk out. I mean, it's just women want to be cherished, but they want to be hoes too. No, you don't get that. No, 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 no. See, they want to be hoes, but they want men to be traditional. It doesn't work that way.
Wow. I mean, I was astonished. I mean, this was mind blowing when I read this. When I came across this article. She goes on to say, why is a woman who has anal but not vaginal sex still a technical virgin, but a man who has only had anal sex with men, not one? I mean, where is she going here? I mean,
Because feminists need to blur the line because where they're going is gender fluidity. And the next stop is pedophilia.
uh, mm,
So if we can accept that there is no such thing as male, female, there's no such thing as gender role. If they can get us to accept that, then we can accept men dressing up as women, going in the bathroom and having access to these little girls. We can also accept women dressing up like men any day of the week they feel like it and go into the men's restroom and dressing rooms. And if we can accept that, the next stage is pedophilia.
mm. 1984, George Orwell, anyone? George Orwell, anyone? Okay, and here's the next shocking one. Here's the next shocking one. It says a woman could ostensibly have a long and active career as a porn star and still be a virgin.
See, in other words, I can be a slut. I can sit on as many dicks as I want to, and you can't call me no names.
Well, she does say here, she says, so long as the vaginal sex was the one she would not engage in. So she's saying she could be a porn star. In other words, she could be a lesbian. She could be a slut, but just be with women. So in other words, it's implying as though, okay, what if you're a lesbian and she's eating pussy and there's no penetration, she would not be a virgin because technically she would have, well, technically she would be a virgin under that ideology because her hymen has not been ruptured. It's still intact because she's just had, oral sex or tribbing, as they call it. Don't ask me how I know that term. I know it. It's not important. Uh, so long as her hymen is still intact, she could be a porn star and still be a virgin. Now, I think this is moral relativism. And I think that's sort of a straw man argument. That's something thrown in to confuse, the whole idea of what we're talking about here is virtue. And she then goes on, she concludes this paragraph by saying, she asked this question. She says, is a woman still a virgin if she's penetrated with a sex toy, but not with a human penis? What say you, Miss Nicole Michelle?
Honestly, I haven't even given it much thought. I mean, it kind of reminds me of what's his face? Y'all favorite your first black president, Bill Clinton. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. I mean, they actually broke it down. Well, did you penetrate her and things like that? I am of the traditional school of thought where penetration from an actual penis, not a plastic one or anything else, a penis, and a
Right.
penetration meaning any one of them holes. So some people disagree with me, but um primarily the vaginal area and God forbid the other stuff y'all be doing. But yeah.
And what you remember now, Mr. Bill Clinton was, I did not have sex with that woman. He also said he smoked but didn't inhale. You know, what
Right.
kind of shit is that? He smoked but he didn't inhale. Right, right,
Right.
right. Okay. And then she concludes. I'm going to go on here and I'm going to wrap this up here. I mean, in terms of this article here, it says there's no good reason for the concept of virginity to persist. Not one. Virginity, whatever it means, has no bearing on morality, goodness, or innocence. You aren't more pure or kind or good if you haven't experienced vaginal sex. You don't lose something by having pleasurable consensual sex. You gain a new fun experience. Yet women the world over receive the implicit and sometimes explicit message that virginity makes them more valuable and worthy of love and respect.
Mm. Well, in other words, what's happening here is the undertone I'm hearing is projection, because there are a lot of women. Oh, I need to plug my computer in. A lot of women were touched when they were younger. So now they're trying to move the goalpost in what defines virginity, because they're feeling like, well, I didn't have the option to, I didn't have the option to say no. I was touched. I was violated. So now I'm going into my adult womanhood feeling less than because somebody violated me. So there can't be there can't be anything as a virgin. There is no such thing because I was violated. So therefore, how can a woman who had a choice, who's protected, why does she get to say she a virgin or no, and then I'm not a virgin? Or so, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to move
Right.
close so that there's no exclusion. That means this is a clear sign that there's so much dysfunction out in the world that the people with dysfunction are controlling the narrative of what's right and what's wrong, and they're trying to blur the line and make it all just a whole gray area. And a lot of it, that's just projection. A lot of those women that are off laying up with women, doing the most, if you interview those women behind the scenes, a lot of them were violated as young women, young girls. So when you start talking about virginity, in their mind, well, I didn't have a choice about giving up my virginity. I was violated. So why does this woman, why do I get why do I lose my value because I was violated? They can't say that, but they can say this. I hope that makes sense.
It does. It does. One of the things that I've been saying, or one of my positions that I've held, is that what we're doing now is we're trying to rationalize abnormality. We're trying to normalize abnormality. So what we're doing is we're regressing everything down to our ratchet level, so that we don't feel
Oh
so
yeah,
bad about ourselves.
all day long.
you know so you will have, for instance, you will have some people that will have an issue with, let's say, Christianity. They'll have an issue. They'll say, well, it's the white man's religion, it's the white man's. But we had Christianity, the pure practices of Christianity, long before the Europeans touched it. As a matter of fact, in the Bible, Christianity doesn't reach Europe until after the death of Jesus Christ. There are some mosques that were churches in Ethiopia that are older than the Bible. But
Oh
you'll hear
Lord.
some people that will say, I'm going to say it here. If you don't like it, get the fuck out." So you have some people that will say, well, Christianity, no, it's not the white man's religion. It's not the white man's, and
We
neither
need
is.
to do a show about that.
Well,
Seriously.
I'm going to do one about that pretty soon, because a lot of people have jumped on, and that's what I don't like. They've jumped on the anti-Christian bandwagon, and a lot of these niggas are just ratchet. No, it ain't got nothing to do with the fact that it's the white man's religion. No, you were out thotting, you were out fucking around and
We
drinking,
need
and
in the hookup culture, Maceo, we need a deflection. We need to be able to project our dysfunction and our insecurities and immorality onto something else. And if we can, then we will. And that's really what's going on. The church has become a scapegoat. Mind you, they have created a lot of their own problems, but now everything else is a scapegoat for just really looking at self.
Yes. And like I said, what they do, they say, well, it's the white man's religion, blah, 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 blah. So, no, nigga, you were just out drinking and you were fucking and you leaving this woman's house in the morning after having a one night stand. You're hungover and you don't feel like taking your ass to church. You want to be ratchet and you want a rationale. You want an excuse. You want to wrap your ratchetry up in some type of righteous rationality. No, you're just trifling. No, you're just lazy. It ain't got nothing to do with the pastor fucking the women in the
They just want to
church.
watch NFL Sunday.
You just want to watch NFL Sunday. That's all it is. You just want to sit up and recuperate from your hangover the Saturday night before. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with the pastor. You just want the right to be ratchet. Okay. And I think that this is the situation with a lot of the conversation around with this woman's article and the uh, fuss or the hullabaloo over Ti. We want the right to be ratchet. So we have to destroy all parameters of normality. We have to destroy all the parameters of decency because we want to be ratchet.
We need to demonize black men, and we need to demonize them for being fathers. In other words, black men are damned if they do, damned if they don't, really. Because if they're
So
not around, they blamed, and if they are there, then they're toxic masculine.
yeah, but again, now that brings me round robin back to, I like the way we do this. These little digressions bring us back to the topic on hand. How important is a competent father in preventing or in ratchet prevention? How effective is a competent father in terms of ratchet prevention?
I believe she has an 80% chance of success.
And 80%, so that's a better than half chance.
Absolutely. I totally believe in the word. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he won't depart from it. There are certain things my father taught me that I did not understand. I talked about this earlier. I didn't understand when he was teaching it to me, but I still abide by it now. I'm at the house. I'm in the house at a certain hour. There were certain things he taught me about how to treat men that I'm teaching women now. A lot of this stuff I got from my daddy, y'all. My daddy taught me game. People were like, well, how did you learn that? Where did you learn that from? My daddy. Um, how to treat men, how to handle money, although I'm a shopaholic. but
Right.
but the teaching is there, and it came up, and in life it came, all those lessons resurfaced. I could not imagine being a woman without a father who did not instill this in me, because me being a Scorpio, being told I was cute, I would have been out here turned up. I'm not even gonna lie. I would have been turned up. I would have been like, I like you. I like you. Let's do it. Let's do. We could have at the same time. Let's do it. I would have been all over the place. But I was raised. I was just raised. My daddy told me this one thing. He said there is a difference between men and women. This was over one of our sausage burger conversations. There are ways that they treat men, and there are ways that they treat women. A man can get drunk, and I talk about this in my book. A man can get drunk, fall all over himself, puke on himself, make a big to-do, have a bar fight, all of that kind of stuff, and people will laugh it off. He can clean himself up, go about his life, and it's no big deal. People will look back at it, laugh, and ha 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 ha. Oh, Tony had a bad night that night, right?
Hmm.
But if Nicole goes out and does that, and she turns up in the same way, pukes over herself, fights, makes a big debacle of herself in public, they're not going to talk about her like they talk about Tony and laugh it off. She's forever tainted as the lush that lost herself in public, that she's so unladylike. They will forever remember me as that chick.
Oh, and they're gonna add extras on to it.
Yeah.
They're gonna add it. Nicole was sucking off two niggas at one time on the
Right.
side of the
Right.
building.
Women don't
It,
understand that.
it was it was off the chain with her.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the same thing with guys. A guy can go and participate in a gangbang or orgy, whatever, and he the man, right? A woman cannot. because she's actually receiving all them dicks, right? Clutch your pearls, ladies. But that's what it is. So she's perceived as this big old hoe. She's tainted. Nobody wants to mess with her. She's a throwaway. Nobody, no man is gonna take her seriously. But Tony or any man, let me not say you, but any man that does that, he can go off and get married and live a happily ever after life. A woman, she's forever labeled a hoe. Why is this? Because a woman's virtue, it really is everything. It really is. It could mean the difference between having a good life where you cherished, where your bills are paid, where you taken care of, men are falling all over to be with you, or it can be the difference between men don't want to be with you except to, have they stuff in your face, as you say it. I'll let you say that. But they can treat you like a throwaway castaway. There is no retirement for hoes. There's a difference between being cherished wife or being a hoe. It's and women don't understand that, and the feminist ideology has made women think that they can be hoes and still be cherished. It is a lie. You can't. You can't. You can't. You can't. You can't. You can't. It's not gonna happen.
That makes me think about that scene in Lethal Weapon 3 where that white man held up diplomatic immunity. Diplomatic immunity. So
Right.
yeah, I think in instances there are things, and people will say, well, it's a double standard. It's a double standard. But there are a lot of other things that, happen. It's like when I always tell dudes that the race always favors the competent guy. It always favors the square. It's always in his favor because at the end of the day, people are suckers for the truth. At the end of the day, attractive women, even though a lot of them don't get it because they belong to the game. Women, no matter what they're numbered, whether they be nickels, whether they be dimes, whether they be eights, sevens, or sixes, at the end of the day, all women want stability.
Right.
That's what
Right.
evens the game out. What
Right.
evens the game out is your ability to provide. And people think that that means leading with your wallet. People think that no, but we have to be honest. A part of manhood and a part of masculinity is being able to
Being
protect
confident. That's a
and
difference.
provide.
Yeah. Like,
Exactly.
I wish these old know nothing on social media telling men that they don't have to. What else are you gonna lead with? Your mouth? That sounds like a broke dude.
Well,
Because
game
a woman leads with her looks, and you don't have a problem with that.
game is, and I've always felt this way. See, what we mean by game, there are many different definitions of game, but what most niggas mean by game is it's a form of deception. Is what it is. It's a form of deception. That's what most people mean when they use the word game is
Finessing
deception.
her out of her drawers with the
Yeah.
least amount of effort.
Yeah. So what happens is that when they use that term, it's used to distract you from the fact that you're losing. Game is used as a form of obfuscation to trick the women into fucking with men that are subpar on
Right.
the
They want
real.
they want to get into a Lester Diamond situation.
Exactly. It is a trap. Game, many times as it is used, not as a method of informing you so that you can make, not a means of empowering you so that you can make informed choices. It is a means of disinforming you. It is an agent or a tool of disinformation so that you can level down, not level up. That's why the Negroes that use it usually can't sustain a long-term relationship. They have one trick, and that one trick is sex. And here's the killing part is that you're not even going to get the dick. You're not even going to get the dick consistently. They don't tell you that either. You won't even get the dick consistently.
Oh yeah,
Bec-
Lester Diamonds of the world always have other chicks. Let me stop doing my show now. But Lester Diamonds are never faithful. Oh my
Never
god.
faithful. You're not even going to get the dick that he promised you. So not only has he gamed you out of your panties, he gamed you out of your panties just to leave you hanging. Because that dick that you were getting that was so plentiful and abundant in the beginning, that's going to disappear in a while. That's going to disappear in a while
Facts.
because he's in rotation. Excuse me, you're in rotation. And if you don't provide him, and here's the funny thing, here's the ugly side of sexual conquest. When men conquer women and they have no sense of self respect, your conqueror doesn't respect you either. Therefore, he will use you to the nth degree. He will run through your bank account. He will get you to rent him vehicles from enterprise that he will wreck on the streets and have no concern about it. He will financially ruin you without batting an eye.
Here's the
He
thing. Here's the thing I want to tell to all of the men out here who say all I need is a crispy mouthpiece to lay up with women. You managed to get yourself in a Lester Diamond situation where she's just doing for you, and you think you just got her mentally wrapped around your finger, and you just giving her that good D. And please, she's emailing me for one-on-one session on how to get you to step up. She's in Mr. Macio's inbox trying to get that 75
trying to get that 75.
because she's mad at you. She actually resents you. So she'll sleep with the very dude that you don't think, well, because he gonna come through with that 75 because you
Exactly.
are inconsistent. You won't pay no bills because all you talking about is that D. So she's
That's
actually complaining about you to you. She's complaining about you to everybody that'll listen. Her coworkers, me, other women, random people on the street, Mr. Maceo, Mr. 75. Oh, she complaining about you. So dudes that's got I got the mouthpiece, she don't really like you. She's
she just
actually looking to move up. She's actually looking to monkey branch, and if she can monkey branch to Maceo, she will.
That's the thing. They despise you. See, that's another thing they don't tell you. The greatest trick, again, the great Kaiser Soze said the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the masses that he didn't exist. The greatest trick a woman ever pulled was convincing you that the world stops and starts with your dick. And
Boom.
what they will do is they will do little subtle forms of disrespect and contempt for you. They despise you. See, you need to believe and drink your own Kool-Aid and think that you reign supreme. No, no, you are the Lord of the flies because what they're doing is they'll go bang another nigga. They'll go suck another nigga, the non-select nigga's dick.
Wait, Mr.
They
Maceo, what do they call you when they right in front of their man? What do they call you?
Uncle Maceo, Uncle Tony. I become a cousin. I'm their cousin or their uncle or they play brother or they play cousin. They'll do that. They will come and then suck the dick of a nigga that you think is beneath you and come home and kiss you in the mouth.
Mm, mm, mm,
They
mm.
will show these subtle forms of contempt and disrespect for you that you're not even aware of. It's
Meanwhile, when you late on the rent, she gonna inbox Mr. Maceo
exactly.
and be like, Maceo, can I come see you?
Yeah.
And he gonna be like, yeah, I got you. You know, you break it down, Maceo. You got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. When they come, they're gonna come over here. They get a text. I always get a text. The three letters, three most precious letters in the alphabet, WYD. I know what that text means when I get it. I know what that means. I know what you're asking me. I know what's about to start. I understand the conversation. And what they used to do, sometimes they wouldn't even do that. They would just send me naked booty pictures.
Oops.
They would just let me know straight up and down what time it was.
What?
They would send me naked, Bucky nakeds, as Bernie Mac would say. Shout out to the late Bernie Mac. They would send me Bucky nakeds to let me know that they were ready to get down and send it right up under his nose.
So Billy Jeff had something to say, a response to you.
What he said, that crispy mouthpiece? Is that it? Oh, Dom game. No, it's not Dom game. It is not Dom game. You know what it is? It's just basic intelligence. At the end of the day, people are suckers for the truth. You know, he said that means Mr. Crispy Mouth won. He ain't got to deal with that female if he drops her. But that's what you missing, Mr. Jeff. He doesn't drop her. He needs her.
Right, because he
Let
ain't got nothing
because
else.
he ain't got shit.
Break
He
it down. Oh
he
my
hasn't
God.
dropped her. That's what you don't understand. He hasn't dropped her. What he's doing is he's floating in and out of her life. She's just in rotation. He always comes back. There's this idea that says that the select guy doesn't pay anything. And I will tell you that is the biggest lie that has ever been perpetrated. They said that these guys don't go in. Yes, they do. And here's why they do. Because there's no such thing as short-term sex in the black. There's no such thing. Now, some people will say that, they have one night stands, and maybe there's some people that have one night stands. That's the exception. But when niggas are banging, they don't stop banging these girls. They don't. They just put them in rotation. And what happens is that what these niggas will do, they will trick with trinkets. They trick it. So in other words, here's how they get down. They will go buy forces. They will go buy sneakers. They will go buy Coach bags. They will go buy uh, 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 expensive clothing. They
Sit
will
on the
go.
phone with her for hours.
Exactly. They'll do all of that, but they will spend that money on trinkets. They just won't handle any of the responsibilities. So they've got her caked out with shit. They've got her caked out with nigga trinkets that they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on because they need to keep that scam going. They need to keep that. So they'll spend a little money on her just so they can be able to float in and out of her life. And let's not forget the pregnancy hustle, because they'll do that too. They'll get a woman pregnant just so they will be able to come back. They will knock a woman up just so they'll have a place to stay. So, no, they don't go anywhere.
Straight
No, they
mess.
don't drop her. They always come back to her because she is as righteous to them or half as righteous to them as I am to her. People will always need people that are righteous. They will always need people that are honorable. That's why they all come back. Think of every nigga that did you wrong, whether you be male or female, all the people under the sound of my voice. Think of every nigga that's done you wrong, whether you be male or female, every person that done you wrong. And I be goddamn, tell me if they didn't come back. Tell me if they didn't find
Man,
themselves
that's
back at
straight
your door.
toxic. Straight
Tell me if they didn't find themselves coming back to you humble and on bended knee begging. So it's not a situation to where, oh, they left and they didn't come back. Sometimes them niggas just I'm gonna tell you in my case, them niggas disappeared only because they went to prison. That's the only.
You mean the girl's boyfriend,
Yeah,
so-called?
the so-called boyfriend, the so-called
Mhm.
select nigga. He disappeared only because, only because he went to prison. And even in prison, he calling her. What you doing? I know you fucking the bondsman. And that's foul. I know you fucking the bondsman. You know.
So they knew that you was tapping that Maceo.
And then she be on her knees, sucking it. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Maceo was just my. He was just the bondsman.
Oh my
No,
God.
I'm not doing nothing, babe. I swear I'm not. That's how it works. That's how they never leave these women. They never leave these women. They always come back.
As a
But
matter of fact, Macy. Oh, I'm sorry, Macy. Go ahead.
the problem is they short-winded and they can't sustain the distance. And then what happens is that the girl gets old. So she loses her value to them anyway. And because I have no intention of marrying them. Mike has no intention of marrying. And I'm going to tell you something else. I'm going to tell you something else, Mr. Jeff. I'm going to tell you something else about those niggas that are dip. Let me tell y'all a little secret that a lot of these so-called select niggas won't tell you. They're always talking about how a woman's sexual value, marketplace value decreases when she gets old. A broke nigga's sexual market value decreases when he gets old too.
Oh,
He
oh,
has
oh,
the
talk about it. Talk
same
about it. Talk about it.
sexual market value as a old hoe. He has the same sexual market value. If he cannot provide, if he cannot put anything into the kitty as far as the substance and maintenance of a home, his sexual value is the same as an old hoe with a high body count.
Maceo, can I say it? Can I say it? Please, please, please let
Go
me say
ahead.
this.
Go ahead.
Because you select men who slept with other people's wives and slept around and did all you was gonna do because you a select man and you got all this sex for free. Well, now you old and now you don't have any money because you never built wealth, you never built anything, you never produced anything. So now you're old, so you can't bring money to the table. And at least when you were younger, you could bring the good deed to the table. Now you older, and you honestly think that you actually bring a good deed? You can't even pay bills and bring a deed. See, rich men understand I'm bartering with my money. So I know I only got 3 or 4 pumps in me, but I know I'm gonna give her. I'm gonna be able to pay that car note off for her. I know I'm gonna be able to help take care of her kids. See, so these select men, when they get old, it's funny to watch how all of a sudden they start talking about relationships and all this kind of stuff. It's really funny. And then, ladies, let me give y'all some game. Anytime an old dude who's never been married, and he's never really been married, but he's been against marriage, but now all of a sudden he live with somebody or he got a girl out of nowhere, usually that's the one that's going to be wiping his butt when he gets sick. He's never going to marry her. He's just keeping her around for companionship and in case. She's the insurance policy.
He's keeping you around to be his home health aide.
Yo, you are a de facto CNA.
Yes.
SNA is what they call them in Ohio, right?
Yep, that's what they call them, STNA. Get, and most women see that hustle too. A lot of women see that, no, nigga, you just don't want to be alone. What you looking for is a live-in ass wiper. Nope, sorry, I'm swerving you. I'm out. And you know what these niggas end up doing? They end up trolling social media outlets like Black People Meet,
Oh,
looking
wait, wait,
for
wait. They end up with a Stacey Abrams, the very chick that they
Yep.
wouldn't have messed with back in the day. They end up laying up with her on
Mhm.
at the end.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because she gonna take care of them. See, they're gonna go find them a quote unquote sturdy Stacy. Then all of a sudden, Stacey Abrams don't look so bad. That I could work with them locks. I like them love handles. I like them thighs you got, baby. I like them thighs. They like the dark spots between their thighs when they ass start to get up in age. Why? Because nobody else wants them. Nobody else, because they become children. They become another damn
I
responsibility.
just need the MGTOWs and the SSYSBMFBGXOs. I just need y'all to understand what you gonna do when you get old. Cause the very women you dissing or be the very women that you need to wipe your butt when you get older. The very women that you gonna need to make you some soup because you sick, because you done been mean to everybody. Cause see, it's all well and good to say that I'm gonna be an island when you young and you can move around and all that kind of stuff. But when you get older, shoot, the best thing in the world is companionship. So good luck with that. And they'll, well, I'll just hire a nurse. Do you know how much nurses cost? Like that's provided you have actual good insurance and not on the government.
Absolutely. I think I saw LAR. Shout out to LAR. He's in the building. But yeah, that's what happens to these niggas. That's what happens to them. And see, they don't tell y'all that while they writing these books and these manuals. They ain't gonna tell you that on YouTube. They ain't gonna tell. And a lot of them that are the ones that are talking all this shit about how to dominate women, they're married. They're married, but they ain't gonna give y'all that game. They gonna tell you how to control women while women are controlling them through
Wait,
purse
wait,
strings.
wait, wait. But Coach Red Pill is married, right?
I don't know. I don't see.
Yeah,
I don't even
yeah,
know. I
he
don't even
is.
know who these niggas are. I don't
Coach
know who they. I don't know who they
the
are.
people that they listening to that actually have some credibility. Coach Red Pill is married to a younger woman. Rolla Tomasi is married to a woman. So black men are the main men that need to be partnering up. Black women are the main people. Our what's that value they said we $5. We're worth
Yeah, your
$5.
net worth is worth $5.
We the main ones that need to be partnering up. Forget all that love. See, when you remove love, a lot of y'all need to remove love. If y'all remove love out of it, you'll be all right. Some of us who know how to choose and vet and fall in love and actually vet the person we love, we can do that. But for a lot of you all, y'all can't do that because y'all choose based on her butt, y'all choose based on his swag. So then y'all all off, and none of y'all can pay no bills. Y'all just in poverty. So, but black people are the main ones that need to pull it back in There you go. He got the comments on the screen now. There you go. Black folks are the main ones that need to be hooking up right now. So when I hear people on social media talking against marriage, they idiots. They are bona fide broke people, bona fide, because they don't know that marriage is actually a system to maintain and build wealth.
Well, and then again, most of the people that would say they're against marriage, and there's the criticism, of course, that the laws are unjust, and there's a smidgen of truth, and I understand that position because when marriage doesn't work, you heard the last week, I think it was last week or week before last, I had my buddy Jay Crockett on, and
That was a
he's
good
been
show.
married for about 5 years. Shout out to Cornelius L. Edwards. Welcome, brother. Welcome to the chat. Glad to have you here this morning. But he said that you know it's been 5 years, and he says when it doesn't work, it's horrible. So yes, now there's some criticism there. I would never say that there isn't some validity to
I've
the
been through
issue.
divorce. I know. I've
You
been
know
through divorce. I know.
that there is some validity to the fact that when it doesn't work, or when it works, and when it doesn't work, it's really horrible. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. And then, but I said, well, what's the alternative? Because me and Mike would joke about this all the time. Me and Mike would say, well, you know what's going to happen to us, right? I said, yeah, we're going to end up in an old folks' home being, pushed around by a stripper that moonlights as a STNA, being abused by some hood rat stripper. That's the now we've been doing this 75 and getting over on these hood rats for 10 years. Now it's they turn to whoop your ass and leave you in your own shit and in your own urine. When you in an old folks home, and you know that's the circle, that's karma that comes back to you, because there's a cost for everything you do. There's a cost for all of this pleasure. There's a cost for all of this stuff. You don't get out of life for free. So what you don't pay in marriage, let's come back to the middle here. What you don't pay in marriage, you will pay in your old age on your way to the grave. And if you live a long time, that's a whole lot of suffering. But
Okay,
you ain't ready for that, are you? You ain't ready for them apples, are you?
top dollar black pill gangster, okay, says if we don't marry and end up in divorce court by someone like Michelle, we'll have no problem paying for a professional nurse.
Well, that's because he thinks that everything is going to be clean. See, I've seen those homes. I've seen the professional nurses, the ones that are most expensive. So I know what that looks like.
Oh, here we go with the Jeff Bezos. Okay, first of all, you have nowhere near Jeff Bezos' money. Uh, if this was my chat room, I would so clown you, but this is Macio's chat, so I'm gonna be ladylike. But if you was over at Inner TV, I would go in on you. Like, I want you to come at 2 o'clock. Meet me at 2 o'clock at Inner Beauty TV. I'm gonna rip you to shreds, but I'm gonna be ladylike because it's Maceo channel.
Well, as a matter of fact, I told you. As a matter of fact, this is my reply. He's gone. I told you I wasn't gonna deal with that shit over here. I told you I wasn't gonna have that shit over here. I'm not here. This is not a platform for that red pill. This is not a platform for that. I'm not here to be red pill. I'm not here to be blue pill. I'm not here to be black pill, purple pill, yellow pill, pink pill. I think they need to take all them goddamn pills and flush them down the toilet.
If they knew
Because
how fair I was to my ex-husband, they wouldn't be saying that. But I don't discuss my personal business like that the intricacies of my marriage and stuff like that. But if they knew how fair I was, they wouldn't have never said that. So
I
I
got a
just laugh.
I got another one in here, Mr. Plex. Scare tactics. Everyone dies alone. Facts. Stop it, Mr. 75. No, nigga. Everyone does not die alone. You see,
Oh,
everyone does not die alone. You see, this is what's out there. This is
wow.
what's out
This
there.
is hookup culture
This
rhetoric. That's
this
all.
it's bum nigga rhetoric. It's grimy nigga regurgitations. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Wait. So he said, is it feminine to go in? Yes. It's not feminine to sit here and be attacked.
You don't let people. That's another thing. That's
Good
another thing. You
Lord.
don't let you don't let niggas flex on you. You don't be
Being
feminine by
feminine is
letting
not
niggas
a
flex on you.
format.
Fuck out of here with that. You
Oh my
don't let people disrespect you. just because you're no, we don't do that here. So if he get cut up, he deserved to get cut up. He got cut up and he got staked through the heart, and that's why he the fuck up out of here.
Meet me at 2 o'clock on NMBB TV by Nicole Michelle. No, I'm just kidding.
You
You
know.
control me. You just gotta pay super chat. You control me all day long. Just super chat.
So yeah, that's the way it should go down. You should at least have to pay for your insults. I won't suffer your ignorance for free. So yeah, but in the final analysis, let's come back to our question, or let's come back to our topic here. Do you think that competent fathers play a role in ratchet prevention?
Yes.
Is that your official statement?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think that competent fathers play a role in the reconstruction and the rebuilding of the Black community?
Yes. And let me make this clear, because a lot of people are raised with stepdaddies, because we got that going on. Shout out to all the men that are stepdaddies, that are competent stepfathers. A lot of women weren't raised with their actual father. So it was stepfathers that came in and did the work of a father, because their mom was a little bit doing the most. Let's just be honest. Let's just keep it 110. So you're not with your natural father. You with
You can
uh,
say the R word. You're allowed.
I'm trying to be nice because it's your channel. But so we got a lot of that going on. But a lot of times women confuse fathers with miscellaneous men that the mama got going in and out the house. That's not your daddy. He's not your stepfather. He's not even your uncle. He's just some random your mama was messing with at the time.
He's a random nigga your mama was smashing. Okay?
Right,
Stop
right,
being
right.
nice. No, this is a nigga your mama was smashing. He came around during tax time and when it got cold. And that's why that's the song. That's the song. I call them lightning niggas. The Temptations had a song called "Papa Was a Rolling Stone." You know,
Wherever he laid his hat was his
was
home.
his home. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so that's the type of niggas that we got out here.
And stop
And
living through celebrities. Like, oh my God. Black people project everything onto celebrities. So this person getting a divorce, this person, Niecy Nash getting a divorce. So her divorce reflects on all Black women. Jill Scott, her life reflects on everybody. Mary J. Blige, her life reflects on everybody. No, you can use him as an example. Jeff Bezos should not represent all married men. Are you kidding me? He's a billionaire, which means whatever he give her, he gonna make that up in what, 6 months or to a year? Are you kidding me? He's
that's
already set aside. We did a whole, me and you did a show about how rich men make up the money they lose in a divorce.
exactly.
We talked about this.
There's a lesson. There's a lesson. On that A.G. Gaston, the great A.G. Gaston, one of our greatest master capitalists, the man that was behind the Gaston Motel, and the man that funded the civil rights movement, quiet as it's kept, in Birmingham, in Alabama. He said that once you become wealthy, it's very difficult not to make more money.
You know what? If y'all would focus on how to be good husbands and not cheaters, maybe you wouldn't have to worry about divorce court. Say what? I'm getting fired up. You give me my Isla Maceo. Oh my
Well,
God. Like,
eh, well, that's the next thing, though. That's the next thing. Well, it's very hard for wealthy men to be monogamous. Yes, it's difficult. It's not natural to be monogamous. It's not natural to go to the bathroom either, but you do it. Somebody trained you to do it, right? It wasn't natural for you to read, but somebody trained you to do it, right? It wasn't natural for you to speak and say mama, mama, and dada, but somebody trained you to do it, right? Driving a car isn't natural either, but somebody trained you to do it, right?
somebody said so only men cheat. Well, going by statistics, women initiate divorce more often than men. So with that being said, a woman is 9 times out of 10, she's not divorcing her provider, and she's not divorcing a man that didn't do anything wrong. And one thing that universally will get all women upset, regardless of her race, her background, age, whatever, cheating. That's one thing that we come together on is cheating. And if a man married you, got you full of babies, now you know your sexual market value is all messed up. You know you got to go back out there divorcee with some kids, and he out here banging other chicks. You going ham. You whatever that attorney, cause see what people don't understand is women don't go into marriage, and I can say this as a divorcee. We don't go into marriage saying this is what I'm gonna get on the way out. That's a new phenomenon with all of these things you can set up prior to marriage in the event that you separate and divorce. But women typically don't go into the marriage like, okay, when I divorce him, I'll do that, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that. We don't do that. Typically, we go into the marriage like, I'm in love with this man. And girl, he got money too, girl. We in love, and then he got money is like the icing on the cake. Girl, he gonna buy me a house in Sugarloaf. Girl, he gonna buy me. He gonna. Yeah, that's the icing on the cake. But really, we focus on him. We are so in love with him. When we find out he cheating, now there are some dysfunctional women, but I ain't talking about them. When we find out he cheating, we go to the attorney, Maceo, because you know a little bit about that. We go to the attorney and we don't even know what we entitled to. It's the attorneys that turn us on to the game. Like, now, you know, you can get this, you can get this. Oh, then we're going to do this, we're going to do this. We're gonna be like, and the woman is sitting there like, I can get what? I can do what? And she's already upset in her emotions because he banging some younger chick that look better than her. So she already pissed off. And now the attorney is telling her all the stuff she gonna get. She like, well, I wasn't trying to do all that, but hey, he deserved it. He shouldn't have cheated on me. See, man, that's what I'm telling y'all. Just if you just like control your pants, a lot of this stuff wouldn't be happening. I'm trying to tell you, because a lot of times women, we are so gone when it comes to our man. We are so gone. And when you cheat on us, it reminds us, it brings us back to reality, and we go for blood.
Well, let me acknowledge the elephant. They said, well, only men cheat. You're right. Men are not the only ones to cheat. Women cheat too. Okay. Let me give him what he thinks he wants. Yes, women cheat too. So the question is now that they cheat, what do you do about it? Did you protect yourself? I mean, let's really get into it if they want to talk
How
about
many dudes have
protection.
side babies and side hoes and paying her rent and out in public cupcaking with another broad? Like, really,
What
dude?
what do you do when they cheat? If you're married, what do you do? Do you have a separation agreement intact? Do you have your money put on? And the prenup is old game now because they can invalidate prenups.
We did a whole show
We
about that
did a
on my
whole
channel,
show
y'all.
about that. They can invalidate prenups now. So do you have a separation agreement intact? Okay. Do you have trusts to protect your money? Do you use trusts to protect your wealth and your finances? This is shit you should be discussing before you sit down and start talking about walking somebody down the motherfucking aisle. Because here's a news flash, Playboy. Everything costs. You're not going to get out for free. That judge is not going to allow that woman to go back to a state of extreme poverty and destitution. He's not going to allow her to go on the public dole
With
when you
your
have
children,
with your
dum
children,
dum.
when you have assets that can protect her. That's not going to happen. I know you think so, but that's not going. Judges will have. I have seen judges give niggas child support when the child was not determined to be his. I have heard. I've heard judges say on the bench, pay for him till he starts to look like you. Because you know that was a nigga's he don't even look like me. I'm dark and he's light. That baby don't even look. Okay, well, pay for him until he starts to darken up. Pay for him until he starts to look like you. That's what you facing when you go into that courtroom. So my question is if she cheats, how do you protect yourself? Because
Yeah,
they ain't gonna have no mercy for you.
yeah, because I've talked to a gentleman who basically said, well, if she cheats, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z to her, and I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna take that. So it's like, wow. So they actually have on paper, in their marriage negotiations that
Mhm.
if she cheat, he gonna get X, Y, and Z, and if he cheat and leave her, it's, you know what I'm saying. If he decide he want to leave her for a younger woman, she gonna get X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
They have that written down. Like that's what it is.
exactly. So now what do you do? What do you do when that happens? What do you do when she decide to get funky with you? Do you have an exit plan? No, you didn't think about that, did you? And you think that somebody else is supposed to suffer because you didn't sit down and plan appropriately? See, we can all be immature and point the finger. Well, it was her, and it probably was her. But you still have a responsibility to protect yourself. It's just like some niggas will say, "Well, I didn't. She got pregnant on purpose." How the fuck she get pregnant on purpose? I was doing a bond one day. I was doing a bond one day for this dude, and he's in jail now. I was doing a bond for him one day, and he was getting one of his baby mamas out. One of them. He got kids everywhere. Oh, Johnny Appleseed ass nigga. He got kids everywhere. And he's, hey, Maceo, I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. She pregnant again. She's pregnant again. Yeah, she pregnant again. How did she get? And I don't know how she got pregnant. I said, well, did you fuck her? He said, yeah. I said, did you use a rubber? No. I said, give me my goddamn money. Give me my goddamn money and get out of my face. I don't even want to hear this. Give me, I already have your signature on the application. Give me my goddamn money and get out of my face. I don't even want to hear this stupid shit. You know how she got pregnant.
Mm, 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 mm.
You know how she got. I don't know how she got. Nigga, you know how she. I don't even want to hear this ignorant shit. I don't even want to hear this before dinosaurs. I don't even want to hear this caveman. I don't want to hear this ignorant ass, grimy ass rhetoric. Just give me my shit. Give me my money, man.
Mhm,
When I'm gonna make up, fuck it. You don't owe me no money, man. Fuck it. Keep that extra $40. I don't even want it, man. Just give me my money and just get out of my way. You see?
mhm.
So you don't take the responsibility to protect yourself in a bad. If you put your dick in a blender, then you enjoy the taste of a nut smoothie.
Oh God. O'Shea Lighting said you are so silly. From my observation and research, women stay with men who cheat. It's when he doesn't come home and or broke. Well, cause a woman will cause a woman to get a divorce. Yes and no, because I've seen women stay with men who cheat, but she had an extravagant lifestyle. I've also seen women stay with men who are broke who cheat. I've seen both sides of that. Trust me, I do one-on-ones with women. I've heard every story under the sun. Trust me, with money or out without money, women are staying or leaving. So I mean, it just depends on the woman, how her story, what she's been through. You can't gauge it. I know for me that's a deal breaker because I'm a Scorpio. That's all I'm gonna say. I can't take it. I can't take it.
Mm,
So so it's just some men in their mind have great grandmama from the country who had no choice but to sit there and take it. So they think these modern women are gonna sit there and take it. I keep telling y'all, these modern women will put you on blast. They're gonna announce it with the church announcements that you cheating. They're gonna announce it on social media that you cheating. They're gonna get a whole YouTube channel just to announce that you cheated on her. They are going to blow up your spot. Then they gonna contact the other woman, make her life. I mean, when I'm telling you, these women are insane when it comes to cheating, and you fellas think that you expecting a great grandma from back in the day that's just gonna sit there and take you having all these side kids and yeah, no, these women ain't doing that. You have a mandate to do right by her, just like she has a mandate to do right by you. That's it.
mm. Well, oh, and you got a happy birthday wish from Cassandra Adams here today. Apparently, today is Miss Nicole's
No, no, no,
birthday.
no, no, please don't tell me.
She put it in there. She Miss Cassandra
Thank,
Adams put it
thank
in there.
you, thank you, thank you. But please don't.
Okay. Okay.
It's
All right.
Veterans Day, y'all. It's Veterans Day.
It's Veterans Day. All right. So, the moral of the story is, and I don't care what these so-called game advisors tell you, pussy cost. Okay? Wrap that around your brain. Now the question is how much do you wish to pay? That's the question.
They don't want to pay anything though. I thought you I thought you understood that though.
Well, yeah, but that again, I understand that, but I don't think again, I keep forgetting. Uh we're like children. Our community, we're like children in our communities. We talk like children, we act like children, we move like children, we think like children, we even fuck like children. We have families like children,
Thanks y'all for the birthday wishes.
you know.
Much love to all my lovies. Mwah, mwah. Thank you y'all. Walt Joe says you shouldn't be getting married if you can't turn down the P. Turn down other P. I agree, sir. Just like I told women, I fussed at women Wednesday because the ladies know I fussed at them too. And I told them, shout out to all the veterans, because I told them leave these men in the military alone. If you hot in the pants and him going being deployed is going to be an issue for you, leave them alone. Just don't mess with our servicemen. Cause they already got I mean, you've been on the boat for like months at a time, Maceo. So you know what it's like to, so I
Yeah,
told him, leave him
yeah.
alone. If you can't be faithful to a serviceman, leave him alone.
Well, yeah, because see, infidelity is something that is actually, it's actually something that people can easily get into. Infidelity in the military go together, like the Ku Klux Klan and the nigga swinging at the end of a rope. You know, it's just something that's there. It's an ever-present reality, and it's something that is in some instances encouraged. So it's hard enough just to have a functional marriage inside of, with the military. So if it's some, and here's the thing, it's even more of a come up, and this is why a lot of women will do it, because it's even more of a come up for women, because see that the government, Uncle Sam, is going to make sure that woman gets half your pension. You have no say in that.
Wow. You know
You ha-
what,
you
Maceo?
have
I
no
want
say in that.
to do a show on military marriage and have all the vets. And would you do that with me?
Yes, yes, I'll do that. I'll do that. Uncle Sam is going, if there are domestic violence issues. Oh, that's instant. That's instant. We call it in the Navy captain's mass.
LAR so silly.
You know,
Angela said, have you heard of people having some agreements when it comes to cheating? I don't know. Maceo? Thanks, LAR. You sweet. What do you think?
usually wealthy people. I have heard of it. It isn't as popular as it isn't as popular as it should be. It isn't as popular as people make it. But yes, there are couples that have cheating agreements in, cheating clauses in their separation agreements, that they are allowed to have so many partners, and that these affairs can only take place during certain periods, and there are certain rules to their dalliances. Yes, I have heard of that. I have heard of that.
Do you advise couples to have that clause in their separation agreement? That if she cheats, you get so much of her business, or if she cheats, you get so much of whatever she brings, and if he cheats, she gets X, Y, and Z. She gets the
I
house,
know
bank
if I
account.
get married, if I get married, there will be a clause in my separation agreement, because I very much intend to be wealthy. My wife is gonna, if she cheats on me, she gonna leave with 75. That's exactly what's gonna
Wow.
be in my pre. You leaving with 75. That's it. If you cheat on me, you leaving with seven. That's all you getting. You getting 75. You came in here for the bag, but you leave with 75.
If she cheats, right?
If she cheats,
I think that's fair.
if you cheat, you leave with that 75. Nothing more, nothing less. Because I'm already, the judge, the court is all, I'm already gonna have the responsibility for the mortgage of the home. I'm already gonna have most of the debt. They're gonna send most of that shit on my back,
Yeah, yeah.
because the property division in divorce cases, or in domestic relations law or family law, those statutes are ironclad. Those statutes are ironclad. So, as far as being able to provide health insurance, in terms of being able to pay the bills, what you gonna do with the I'm already gonna lose my home. They're gonna give her the damn marital home. So you can't get my home and my business too. Hell no, you're gonna take this 75 and you're gonna keep it pushing. You're gonna have the house. You're gonna have the house.
So, ladies, don't cheat on Maceo. Yeah.
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 And Walt says, he says, what is it? He said, both lawyers you will have to pay. That's right, the lawyers. And that's something that's never discussed either. These lawyer fees cost a grip, you know.
Oh yeah. Cause see, I didn't even know when I went in for my divorce consultation. Because I'm all in my emotions and I'm crying. She was like, stop crying. She was like, just stop crying. And I'll never ever get a white woman as my divorce attorney again. I need to go through the how you choose a divorce attorney again, because that
Mhm.
actually can determine what of a beast they're going to be in the courtroom. But I digress. I got a white woman because I thought that that would work and it didn't. But
No, what
anyway,
you
she.
usually want to get in a divorce, you usually want to get a black female attorney.
Oh yes,
You want,
woo,
if
woo. If you're a
in
black
divorce,
woman,
if my wife divorces me, I'm gonna go get
I'm
me
going
a
to a Stacey
I'm
Abrams.
going to go get me a statuesque, big titty, brown skinned woman to be my divorce attorney.
So it's gonna be two black women attorneys.
Yep, yep,
Yep.
yep,
Yep.
yep.
Well,
And
I got. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
mine, I'm gonna get the hottest one I can find. I'm gonna get the hottest one I can find, and I'm gonna put her on retainer. And I'm gonna say, okay, how much you gonna rake me over the coals for? Because I know it costs. How much you gonna rake me over the coals for? I need to get out of this intact. What can you do for me? Or what do you need? All I need for you to do is look good. That's half the battle right there. I need for you to look good, and I need for you to go in there and grill her. That's what I need you to do, you know, because jurors are always quick inside tip. Male attorneys, if they have to try a case against a female attorney, you never want to try a case against a female attorney. Never. Because this is where the scales even out. If you beat up on that, you could be totally correct on the law. You could be wearing her ass out in cross-examination, redirect, and the presentation of evidence. They're always going to give that female attorney the benefit of the doubt.
Well. Not in my case because I made the mistake of, and being a paralegal, I should have known this, but I got an older. We going on a tangent, but this is a good one, y'all. So hang with us. Um, I got an older white woman and not
No, 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 no,
a
no. You
young
can't.
busty one
No, you can't do
because
that.
my ex-husband had a white middle-aged white guy who was a beast. Woo, he
Hmm.
was a beast. He tore
Yeah,
her out the frame. I was like, my
yeah.
God. But good thing he paying for my attorney's fees because she got tore out the frame. But had I got Maceo, had I gotten maybe a middle-aged woman that was still banging with some big breasts and blonde,
Hmm.
man, look.
Just do it.
That would have been a war. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. That would have been a war.
I've seen like the white female attorneys, like the ones that are attractive, that are big, the blondes. I've seen them come into court and they'll have on dresses, but you can see their thong through the dresses.
See, that's what I'm talking about. They win. I'm telling y'all, we need to do a show about the science of court because black people
Yes.
just are not we used to court.
Hmm.
But black people, y'all run from court. Y'all don't understand lawyers. Y'all don't
Hmm.
understand how to pick a judge. Y'all don't understand venue versus jurisdiction. Y'all don't understand that stuff. We need to do a show. Let me know when you ready. We could do a show because I want to do it on your channel so we can talk blunt.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
about the science of court because in my divorce, I really should have gotten a black chick that didn't like black men. Because she would have,
Yeah. She would have
woo,
bent them over the coals.
woo.
There was a guy, in there was a guy who I was familiar with, and he brought me. He's a millionaire here in the city, and he brought me his friend, and his friend was running one of these group homes where he had these kids coming in, and he went and married a stripper.
Oh,
Went and
God.
married a stripper, and I think they were married for maybe a month, and he divorced her, and so
Mm.
she had an incompetent lawyer because she could have really grilled him because he was doing some shady shit. He was hiding money in other people's names, and there's a bunch of different things you can do in terms of making sure that you get, and that's both as male and female,
Yeah,
because
we're going to do a show about
in
that.
those in the cases to where the women make more money than the men. The men can skin the women up.
Oh, yeah.
The
Oh,
men can skin the women up. So in instances where the women make more money, they could be in jeopardy. of
Mm-hmm.
losing everything to that no good hobosexual.
Maceo, you got a question?
What's the question? Where's the question here?
Tony, can attorney's fees be outlined in the separation agreement, or is that codified in law as well?
It depends on the jurisdiction that you're in. Some states, attorney's fees are mandatory. Some of them is discretionary. You have to petition the court for it. You have to motion it up, and then you present a bill to the court, and the court looks at your hourly fee to make sure it's reasonable, and then they look at the expenses to make sure the expenses are reasonable. But in most instances, they just simply submit a bill to the court, and the judge says pay it.
Yeah, because I actually didn't know everything that I could fight for until I went to my divorce attorney. She was like, "Oh, don't worry about divorce attorney's fees. We're gonna charge it to him." I was like, "Oh," because I was up here waiting, till I got enough money. She's like, "Don't worry about that. We're just gonna charge. Just give me my retainer, and we'll charge the rest to his attorney." I was like, "Oh shit!"
Mhm.
Like women, when I'm telling you, and fellas too, fellas, y'all cannot run away from marriage because really it's you not knowing the system because it's really who files first. But that's some game me and Macy gonna have to break down on a separate show because it's really whoever files first really has the most power.
Tie go to the runner. Whoever
Yeah.
filed first, tie go. That's why you need separation agreements. That's why you need to utilize trusts. Don't wait. Well, see this. I'm gonna give you guys. I know this is gonna be used against me, but fellas, listen up. Don't wait till your marriage go to the side to protect your money. Protect your money before shit get bad. Because as my grandma used to say, mad day is coming. Mad day is coming. So don't wait till your marriage falls down to protect yourself. Protect yourself going in. Keep your guard up when you're going in.
Mhm.
Always look at worst case scenario, fellas.
Right, right.
Protect yourself going in. Utilize separation agreements, but you got to sit down and be honest about it. Okay, what happens if we don't get along? God, we want to stay together forever. And this is the conversation you should have with your wife. Look, I love you and I want to stay together with you forever. I want to make this shit permanent. But sometimes things don't work. Sometimes shit happens. So here's what we're gonna do, and let her have get her a separation agreement. Let her go to a separate lawyer and
Right.
let her lawyer put their terms in and let the lawyers hash the terms out, come to a consensus, and that separation agreement will become your divorce decree. So now you don't have to go to trial. Now you can split amicably.
Mhm,
Now you can keep your assets and not be wiped out.
mhm,
Okay. So
mhm.
now everybody can split and go their own way because those separation agreements, the courts will, the courts will respect the separation agreement. The corporation will respect the separation agreement, and they will respect the separation agreement because now what you're doing is you're saving the judge time. He doesn't have to put a trial on the docket for some shit for some people that can't get along because you know
Yeah.
they're going to make shit unnecessarily difficult.
Mhm.
Well, I want the couch.
And
I want the couch.
going to court is expensive, y'all.
It is.
So, don't
It's
think.
expensive and it's traumatic.
Wait, but
You
wait,
know.
wait, wait. Somebody said, Maceo, Mama Cush. She says, y'all are making me scared to get married. Why can't we just be happy forever? You know why? Because marriage is a contract. It's business. It's not
Yes.
love. It's business.
Yes. Exactly. And you have to think of the word. That's what insurance is. Insurance is just in case some shit happens. You're not planning to leave, but just in case. Okay.
Like I told my man, I was like, if we get married, I love you to death, but I got my business, the inner beauty movement. I want to protect that just like he want to protect his. So I let him know, look, I'm gonna sign you. I'm gonna sign whatever you put in front of me. I'm gonna have my attorney look it over, but I'm gonna sign whatever because I love you. But I know this business part of it,
Mhm.
we gotta handle that. I think you got a question.
I got a couple of questions. Walt says, uh, what if the separation agreement was made with no kids and now there's kids? You include kid. You always include kids. If you gonna fuck, you include kids in the agreement, dude. There's the possibility of children. You
So yeah,
fucking.
Yeah, you're thinking ahead of time, Walt. That's all.
Yeah,
You
you
make
you
sure,
you
yeah.
if
And
they're
then
kids,
have
you
children.
got to include that.
Right, right, right.
You see, this guy, oh my God, this is why I love chess. Let's see, what else is here? And yes, everything is discussed and paid for. It ain't okay. 50% of marriages end in divorce. Yes, yes.
Also the biggest the scariest thing to black men in particular is that
Mm,
child support piece, because most of them don't make enough money for alimony. So that's just real talk. So let's just talk about child support. Can that
okay.
be included in the, we
Yes,
already covered this in our show. Y'all go
you.
look at my channel. It was featuring Tony Maceo. So we've already covered this, but for his channel, this is good talk. Let's talk
Yes,
about the child support
the
piece.
child support piece can be. You could set the child support in accordance with the prevailing laws and the prevailing computation method that your jurisdiction uses. Simple. You can set the child support. You can actually agree to child support because if you're voluntarily paying it, then and keep records. If you're paying child support, keep your receipts. Keep it all. Keep it all because that's very important. Keep it all because you can actually have that clause in there where you're voluntarily paying it and you're agreeing to pay it in excess or in tandem with whatever the state's computation or their method for determining child support is. So, yes, that can be included. That can be included.
Yeah, if fellas are talking
But
about. Mhm.
Angela said something key. Thank you, Angela. Angela says some of y'all don't even want families. Some of these niggas up here talking about child support and don't even want kids, don't even
Angela
want to
always
get
on
married. You know, yeah, that's what that shit is. Niggas up here complaining about shit, and you know you ain't trying to do nothing but smash. Stop it. Let's see. But anyway, it's getting time for us to shut down here because I know Miss Nicole has a show in a few hours. So I'm gonna respect her gangster, and I'm gonna respect her time because she has a show to get ready for.
Oh,
Uh,
Walt got one more question. Walt said, so before getting into marriages, it's better to buy prepaid legal.
no, stay away from prepaid legal.
He said
Stay away from
no.
that shit. That shit is a scam.
Mm,
Stay away from prepaid legal.
it
Stay
is.
away from prepaid legal. You
Mm.
can go and put an attorney on retainer yourself for the price that you would give prepaid legal. Did you know that? You can, for the price that you pay them every month, you can go and put an attorney because what they don't tell you is that money that you're giving them, what they're using it is, what they're using it as. They're using it as a referral system for attorneys. So what they do is they go and negotiate with these attorneys and say, well, look, if you give our clients a 25% reduction in exchange for us signing them up, we will send them to you. And you now have a revenue stream. But what they don't tell you is that those attorneys are still permitted to charge whatever they wish in excess of that 25% reduction. What they're not going to tell you is that divorce or lengthy criminal cases, lengthy criminal prosecutions or civil prosecutions are going to eat up that damn 25% reduction fee. That's what they're not telling you. And in a lot of those plans, the only thing that prepaid legal covers is a damn traffic ticket. That's it. Stay away from that. That's the worst shit. They always have pyramid schemes to come up with to
Mhm.
run on niggas. There are
Kevin
there's
Kevin Green got he popping off, Tony.
I'm not MGTOW. I'm just not an idiot. You have a woman paying 75 to the same woman you advocate for us to marry brust. I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about.
He talking about he thinks that you're saying telling men to marry ratchets. That's basically
No,
this
I'm
boy.
not telling women to marry ratchets. I'm
Oh,
not
we already
telling you to do
covered
anything. I'm not telling you to marry ratchets. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just telling you to protect yourself. That's what I'm telling you. That's all I'm telling you. So,
that.
bruh, you stop it. Okay?
Mhm.
So, you probably need to listen to the, because you know niggas don't listen. You know,
No,
they
they
don't pay attention to shit.
don't. And they
They
think
just come in and get in their feelings and get triggered and start blacking out, you
they.
know. So That's what it is, and that's how it is, and that's the way it is, and everybody know that's how it
They don't
is.
want to be married because they want to lay around with different chicks and not have any responsibility.
That's
They
okay. If
grown
you wanna,
boys,
if
little
you wanna
boys.
lay around again, like I said before, you can do that. You can lay around with that, but understand there's a cost for that. There's cost for that because I look at these niggas when they get old. I see a lot of them when they get old, and I got them in my family.
Mm-hmm.
The motherfuckers are permanent
Miserable,
vagrants,
miserable.
miserable. They go from hit house to hit house, as we
Mm-hmm.
call it in the South. We call them hit houses in the South. They spend
Mm-hmm.
most of their motherfucking time in hit houses, most of their time bopping from house to house, looking for
But
any
but
old ratchet that's
no,
gonna take care of them.
but check this out though. The maid, it kills me because the same brothers that be like, don't get married, blah blah blah, be the main ones talking about they going overseas to get women.
You ain't
So are
stop
you
it,
going
stop
overseas to
it.
get women to marry? Because a lot of them talking about we gonna go overseas and get married. We gonna go overseas and find our wife over there. Mm-hmm. So you won't marry you. So are you against marriage or you just against marriage with American women? Like men are just all over the place, y'all. I just yeah.
You only thing you doing, and if you want to go overseas, go overseas. Okay, I'm not telling you not to go. You remember that thumbnail Mike did on Sean James, the Almighty hates passports.
Mike is the
But
goat
anyway,
of thumbnails. Oh my god, y'all. Go to
he
Max
yeah he is.
He is the
But
goat.
anyway, um, go over if you want to go overseas, go overseas. But I tell you this, you're only exchanging one hood bitch for another one.
Yeah, that's another show we're gonna have to do.
Okay.
We're gonna have to do that.
So in any event, again, we get ready to shut this down. It is 7 minutes after 11, and I want to thank my guest, Miss Nicole Michelle. He said, what, hold on before I get out of here. Stop scaring dudes, Mr. 75. Nothing wrong. I never said anything was wrong with being a bachelor, but that costs. It's nothing wrong with being, if you're ready to pay that cost, it's a cost to it. So, Mr. Plex, if you want to get old and have, some bitch taking care of you, knock yourself out. Do whatever you want to do. A be a bachelor. Bang as many women as you want. I mean, do what you do. Do what you do. I don't give a fuck. Do what you do. Anyway, I want to thank Miss Nicole Michelle for coming over
Thanks
to
for
my
having me,
channel,
Maceo. It was fun.
and she was nice enough to promote this here. She's been instrumental. I got to give her credit. Between her and my brother, they have helped me get my numbers up on this channel. I started Genosha TV, and a lot of people have also come to Genosha TV from this channel. Just understand that when you go over there, it won't be as much niggardry over there as it is over here. Thank I would like to thank Mr. Cole Michelle for coming to my channel, for donating her time, especially since she has a podcast today, and it has officially been recognized that today is her birthday. So I want to thank her. I want to say happy birthday to her, and I want to thank her for coming over here and spending her time over here on Power and Strategy and giving us, that perspective and giving us a traditional perspective, something that's missing. And I want to say this before I go. You hear a lot of women that come over here about you hear a lot of women come over, you hear a lot of women on YouTube. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted, I'm trying to read this damn chat. You hear a lot of women on YouTube talking about various ways to get a man and various ways to trick men, and don't confuse that with what you hear on Inner Beauty TV, because the topics that you hear on Inner Beauty TV you're not going to hear anywhere else. A lot of these femininity advisors, they're not going to tell you about the convenient wifey. Go over there and check it out. It's a classic. A lot of these feminine YouTubers, these black female YouTubers, they're not going to tell you about uh, dusty divas and the dust tsunami. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you about the cons of being a trophy wife. They're not going to tell you that. You know, they're not going to tell you what to do when you're dealing with an emotionally unavailable man. They're not going to tell you that. They're not even telling you how to vet men for marriage. They're not even telling you that. What they're coming with is a whole lot of gimmicks. They're coming with a whole lot of gimmicks and a whole lot of fuckery designed to get your subscription so that you can boost the analytics of their channel. But Mike has said it, and I'm saying it. Miss Nicole Michelle is the real deal. So go over there and check her out. Listen to what she has to say. For disclosure, just like she's a mod here, I'm a mod over there. So if you niggas come in there with that niggadry, I'm staking you through the heart.
Yeah,
I'm staking
today,
you through the heart.
today, folks gonna be in their fifties. Y'all,
So
wait a minute. Let me do a station ID. First of all, this is Power and Strategy. He has never asked for a dime since he's been on the air, and I'm telling y'all, like and subscribe, and make sure you share and hit up his PayPal. I think, is that your PayPal?
yes, that's it.
All
That's
right,
it.
y'all hit him up. He never asked for a dime, but y'all, I think he deserve it. Y'all hit him up, show him some love, and show him some love in his Patreon. It's good content for those of you who want the niggatry, as y'all call it. I don't know what he has in his Patreon, but I'm pretty sure it's good content. Hit that stuff up. Support the people that are giving you good content because it's a Monday morning. Y'all listening to entertainment at work. So yeah, y'all, he's doing better each show. So he's putting in the work and the time. Y'all like Tony. He always brings that fire. So y'all show him some love. Just drop him something, y'all, and show him some love because he'll be over at Inner Beauty TV. He's always supporting. He always make everybody laugh. Let me get it out. And he's always contributing. So y'all support your brother.
All right. With that being said, if you have any questions, if you have any questions or suggestions for show ideas, or concepts for show ideas that you would like explored that I can go through, I'm not gonna, just take anything you give me, you know, because niggas will come up with some shit. Niggas will come up with some shit. So
See,
if you
Billy
have
Jeff, if you had behaved yourself, you could still be at Inner Beauty TV because my understanding you were blocked. So I guess my mods must have sniped you. See,
so you can send your questions to way of strategy 44 at gmail.com. My email address is wayofstrategy44 at gmail.com. Again, that is wayofstrategy44 at gmail.com. My Patreon is Power of Strategies. Shout out to the one and only, the king of YouTube thumbnails, the Fat Mac himself. Big Mike Almighty Triple XL. Go over there and check him out if you really want some niggatry. If you want epic doses of niggatry. If you want staggering amounts of niggatry, go to MaxCityLimitsPodcast.com where myself and my brother is over there holding court. Go over there, but it's not for the faint at heart. It is not for the faint at heart. Ladies, if you have a weak stomach, if you have pearls, you will be clutching them. It is not
oh
for
my
the faint
God,
of heart.
yes. But they are
Do
honest though. They some honest brothers.
Exactly. So go over there and check us out over there on Max City Limits. And as always, I'll also be on Genosha TV and on Power and Strategy. Again, go and support and check out Miss Nicole Michelle's podcast at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. That is 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. What is the topic again? Give us the topic again, Miss Nicole.
Yes, every woman must avoid the spirit of Lester Diamond,
Lester
the
Diamond.
character off a casino. I put the link in the show. Every woman must resist the spirit of Lester Diamond. So we'll be talking about the guys that you just can't get rid of. They're just like a fungus. I'll talk about them.
All right. So with that being said, Miss Nicole Michelle, do you want to plug your channel? Of course, it's Inner Beauty TV. I don't have. I should have the thing to your PayPal. I don't. I'm not
It's
being
okay.
very
It's all
gracious
good. They can come
host. Please,
over.
please put your link in the chat, ma'am, so that they can subscribe to your channel and support you as well. Because she's putting out information. She's literally putting out information that can rebuild the Black community, that will make us a better people. Because again, what we're doing now is niggatry. It's niggatry. It's entertainment. It's shit that we're doing just to keep ourselves entertained because we're bored, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, there's no substitute for substance. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna say that again. At the end of the day, there's no substitute for substance.
Mm-hmm.
So go over there and show her some love. Go over there and support her as well. And we'll see y'all. I guess we'll see y'all at 2. Until then, in the words of Don Cornelius, we wish you love, peace, and soul.